What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you're new to the channel, I am Goldpenny. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2026 Infiniti QX60, courtesy of Faulkner Infiniti in Mechanicsburg, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we're in this one because this is actually a very good starting price point for a luxury SUV at least, and there's lots of big changes for the 2026 QX60 as well. And in case you're curious, this one competes with the Acura MDX, Volvo XC90, Lexus TX, I guess, as well, just to name a few. But ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2026 QX60. You got Pure starting at $51,200, which by the way is a $1,000 bump from the 2025 model year. Got Lux, which is the one we are in today. This one goes for $56,800. Sport for $61,700. And by the way, the Sensory trim level is gone for 2026, has been replaced with the Sport trim level, in case you were curious about that. Then you got Autograph starting at $66,150. And so those last two trim levels come with all-wheel drive. The first two trim levels come with front-wheel drive. However, you can add all-wheel drive like we have with us here today. If you wanted to do that, simply add $2,000 to the Pure or the Lux trims I just rambled off there. But regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant on the QX60 is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that puts out 268 horsepower at 5,600 RPM, 286 pound-feet of torque coming in at 4,400 RPM. Again, power sent to front wheels or all wheels through a 9-speed automatic with paddle shifters, which of course you guys know we will be testing out here in a little bit. 0 to 60 time for this one, approximately 7.5 seconds. That's plenty respectable there. Top speed, if you're really interested, 120 miles per hour, with MPG numbers coming in at 22 in the city, 28 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 22 city, 27 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking premium unleaded fuel. But so that before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in our QX60, I do want to mention to you guys the drive modes. And so there's a little silver toggle switch located just to the left of the shifter. It is labeled D mode, and that is going to give you drive modes like personal, sport, auto, eco, and snow, and tow as well, adjusting things like the steering sensitivity, the throttle response, and the shift point. So now I've got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the paddle shifters here to the test first, and let's see how quickly these paddle shifters are going to react for us here. 3, 2, 1, go! Ah, shifted. It shifted again, stop it! All right, it is not a manual shift mode, even though I put it in manual shift mode. You slide the shifter all the way to the back to the M, you would think that would be a manual shift mode, but still, if you don't shift fast enough, it will shift for you, unfortunately. So it is not a true manual shift mode. So I'm just gonna tap it back, because paddle shifters then are, I don't know. Here's what I would do with the paddle shifters. I honestly would probably just get rid of them, because this is an SUV. Most people are probably not going to be using the paddle shifters. They are black plastic as well. If you're going to do paddle shifters in a luxury SUV, they probably should be at least coated with like a silver or high-end feeling finish, if not aluminum. So when it comes to the paddle shifters, I probably would just completely get rid of them. Yeah, that's just my take on that. But anyways, let's now go ahead and find one more straightaway with the QX60 having full control, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. Still in sport driving mode here. We're gonna come to a standstill real quick. Kind of a curve, but it's okay. 3, 2, 1, go! There it is. Whee! Nothing wrong with that. Now, there was a little bit of a delay at the very beginning, so obviously you're gonna get turbo lag with the turbocharged 4-cylinder, unfortunately. You know what, Infiniti, if you're watching this, I know you do watch some of my videos, I bet you $10 in Bitcoin that if you were to offer an optional engine option, let's say, I don't know, the 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 I had in my G35 coupe back in the day, I bet you if you offered that engine option, more people would pick that than the turbocharged 4-cylinder. I'm gonna put that out there. I could be wrong, I don't think I am though, but that engine was wonderful, and the sound that that engine had paired to it in that G35 coupe of mine back in the day was just absolutely amazing, and it never failed on me either. I think I traded it in at 130,000 miles. So Infiniti, if you're watching this, go ahead and put my G35 coupe engine in this thing, you got yourself a winner, I bet. Anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 13.8-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 13-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 6-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at 113 feet. As far as braking feel goes, it's fine. It's honestly plenty fine. Usually Infiniti does do a very good job at their braking, so I definitely do not have any issues with the braking on the QX60. 113 feet, that's a sport sedan number, so that really is an incredible number for this size of an SUV, so no issues with that. But then touching on suspension and handling, in front you're going to get an independent strut type front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. Overall, as far as ride quality goes, it's been plenty fine in my short little test drive here today, so definitely don't have any issues with that. Steering feel 100% on point. I love the steering feel in this thing. Now it does adjust dependent upon the drive mode that you put it in. Got it in sport driving mode right now. Definitely feels like a heavier weight to it. Instantly points you in the direction that you want to go. If I were to take it out of that, if I wanted a looser steering feel, you could put it in auto or eco or whatever you want there, but it's something for everybody. So I always like when manufacturers do that. As far as cabin noise goes, I'll be quiet here for a second. It really is really good. This is one of the first things I noticed when I got in this one too. It really is quite a serene cabin, as most luxury automakers do give you. So also I'm a big fan of that. Touching our rear visibility, this is interesting because we got the third row headrests up right now, and they are gigantor, like the biggest third row headrests in existence. I think they actually almost go up to the ceiling of this thing. So if you don't have any third row passengers, definitely fold those down, because that's going to give you a heck of a lot better rear visibility. But the other cool thing is with forward visibility is that rain sensing windshield wipers do come standard on the QX60. So whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on the windshield wipers for you. So it's just one less thing you got to worry about, kind of like automatic headlights. So that is pretty stinking cool as well. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2026 Infiniti QX60. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2026 Infiniti QX60 finished in mineral black, which by the way is a $695 paint option in case you were curious, but black always looks good on cars. I like it. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where the QX60 is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 5, indicating that the QX60 is built and assembled here in the US. So starting up front, you will find a refreshed front end for 2026, and that includes a revised grille design with an illuminated logo. That's pretty cool. Front bumper has been reworked as well to give it a lower and wider look than before. So overall, let me know what you guys think of the slight refresh here in the comments section below. But revised LED headlights to the sides as well with LED daytime running lights. Get the automatic feature with those. You get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. So you got to love that. To me, this refresh looks a lot similar and a lot more in line with the QX80. So I think it looks pretty darn good, more high-end looking, but that pretty much rounds out the front end of this one. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. And so now since we are around to the side of the QX60, starting all the way to the top, roof rails will come standard. Those crossbars, those are an added option in case you're curious about that, but rear privacy glass does come standard as well. You got the floating roof line on the C-pillar in the back there. Bi-colored power adjustable side mirrors. It's not going to look like that because we have a black exterior, so it's just going to look all black, but you get what I'm saying. Side mirrors are going to be heated though with LED integrated turn signals. They are power folding then as well. The other thing I wanted to mention to you guys is you have Infiniti etched into the side skirts. Look it up a little bit closer here, so hopefully you guys can see that, but that's a pretty nice little added touch as well. Very high-end look there. And then the wheel setup, they are going to be 20-inch machined aluminum alloy wheels for all trim levels across the board in case you were curious. So that pretty much rounds out the side profile of this one. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the QX60, starting all the way to the top, you do have a body-colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with the integrated brake light. Just below that, you got the rear window wiper. LED taillights do come standard. They're kind of a blade-style taillight, so I definitely like the look of those. Got Infiniti lettering spelled out horizontally. Towing capacity, in case you were curious, if you wanted to go with the towing package, is 3,500 pounds for the front-wheel drive, 6,000 pounds for the all-wheel drive. And then just below it all, you will find dual exhaust exhaust outlets. They are, however, tucked away. Would have loved to have seen them integrated into the rear bumper. I don't know, Infiniti in my mind, Nissan and Infiniti, they're more of a performance luxury, and they just absolutely crushed it back in the day with their exhaust systems, especially with the G35 Coupe, like I keep saying, because I loved that car. So make it look good, make it sound good. That's my personal take, but nonetheless, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the QX60, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, a power tailgate does come standard, love that. And then if you wanted a hands-free power tailgate, that's going to be with the autograph trim level. But there is a button on the key fob, there is a kind of hidden button on the tailgate itself then as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity behind that third row, because this is a 3-row SUV, we'll get more into that in a second here, but cargo capacity behind the third row, 14.5 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, of course, the third row does fold down. That's going to bump that up to 41.6 cubic feet. Then with all rows folded, 75.4 cubic feet, and there is a 60-40 split, by the way, if I could talk. But chrome plated tie down anchors back there. You got grocery bag hooks on both sides. That was pretty stinking cool. If you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find a pretty deep amount of in-floor storage. I loved that. So then obviously the first thing I look for after that is there a spare tire? So I looked up underneath of the vehicle. There is. So you got the best of both worlds. You got the in-floor storage and the spare tire. So nailed it with that, Infiniti. Good job. But then making our way up to the third row legroom. That is going to come in at 28 inches. So therefore, almost not even a point putting a third row. I'm just saying, because my Mustang GT, my 2019 Mustang GT, had 29 inches. So it's even more than this. So what's the point? I think this SUV would do just fine with just a 2-row SUV. But anyways, rear ventilation does come standard though. I like that. And that's on the ceiling. So big fan of that. Cup holders back there. You actually have USB charging ports too. So good job for that. But then making our way up to the second row legroom, that comes in at 37.7 inches. For reference, I'm not even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back there. USB charging ports back there. There's a 120 volt power outlet. Rear window sunshades though come standard for all trim levels. You gotta absolutely love that. I'm a big fan of that. Heated second row for all trim levels but the Pure. So we actually have a heated second row here on our Lux. So big fan of that as well. If you're looking for bench seating, go with the Pure of the Lux trim levels. If you're looking for captain's chairs, meaning the 2 chairs in that center row with the walkthrough in the middle of it, that's going to be in the sport and the autograph trim levels. So a little bit something for everybody there. But now let's go ahead and make our way up to the front seats. Leather seating does come standard for all trim levels. Heated front seats, all trim levels as well. Ventilated front seats coming with the Lux trim level and up. We got that. I love ventilated front seats. Massaging seats down with the autograph. So if you want to spoil yourself, there you go. Overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it was actually really nice. Like really nice, comfortable seats here on the QX60. So I didn't have any issues with them. But let's now go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. This is a pretty cool steering wheel. It's tilt and telescoping. It's leather wrapped for all trim levels. It's also heated for all trim levels as well. And yeah, I have no issues with that. Now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. This is a super heavy duty key, and there's a plus and a minus with that. So you got Infiniti lettering all the way at the top, lock, unlock, the button to pop the lift gate, and the remote start button as well. I liked that. That comes standard on the Lux trim level and up. And like I said, it is a heavy duty key, meaning I remember when I lost all of my keys in Ocean City, Maryland back in the day, it was like 110 bucks to replace the Civic key, but it was like 420 bucks for my Infiniti G35 Coupe key. So just keep that in mind. Don't lose your keys at the ocean. But anyways, it is all keyless entry with a push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that black engine start button located kind of just in front of the shifter there. And so when it comes to the gauge cluster, this is pretty cool. 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster. And I like it. It looks pretty good. And there's a 3 little line button on the left-hand side of the steering wheel where you can change meter view, is what it's called. There's probably a better way of putting that, Infiniti, but essentially just means change the look of the gauges, and that's pretty cool as well. It gives you the option to go ahead and do that. Now, it looks like everything is just gonna be a black and gold kind of setup. Wouldn't have minded some different color gauges, a little more customization, but it's still good that there's a little bit of customization. Just wouldn't have minded a little bit more, like let's say Mercedes-Benz would be BMW does. They give you like 5 or 6 different loadouts, but nonetheless, it still gives you everything you need up there, like outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty, trip A, trip B, there's a digital speedometer and so on. So pretty much everything you need on a digital gauge cluster. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. Panoramic moonroof for all trim levels. You gotta appreciate that. HomeLink controls for the Luxe trim level and up, and that's for up to 3 different garage doors found in the bottom portion of this frameless rear view mirror here. Tri-zone climate control for all trim levels. You get an air purifier system for the autograph. That's pretty cool. Wireless phone charger for all trim levels across the board. Get this nice leather dash here as well. I liked that. Gloss black finish just below that. You have a cool silver texturized finish just above that. That continues on to the doors. These speakers as well, I can't wait to test out the sound system. It's from Klipsch. I still can't say that, but it looks stinking cool. They're like indented speakers too. You also have a little bit of hidden storage found underneath of the shifter. I'm always a huge fan of that in SUVs. Got some cup holders here just behind the wireless phone charger, and then within the center armrest, it's actually a really deep amount of storage in there, and you got a 12-volt power outlet in there as well, so no issues with that. Overhead sunglass holder, don't want to forget to mention that. Overall, it's okay. It's certainly not that bad. Little bit of matte black plastic found just to the left of the shifter here. The shifter does feel a little bit of cheapy as well. I probably would switch that up a little bit. The other thing is a lot of the competition will give you ambient lighting, and I was looking for that as well and I didn't find it. Maybe I'm just missing it, but I'm probably not. But yeah, there's a few things I would change in the interior quality like I just mentioned there, but overall, I wouldn't have any issues with it. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the infotainment screen. There's a 12.3-inch touchscreen display. You get Bluetooth and audio streaming with that. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, which by the way is wireless. You gotta appreciate that. Factory navigation system is gonna come in the Luxe trim level and up. This is a pretty cool looking infotainment screen too, and it was fairly responsive, so I liked the way all of that worked. There's also up there, of course, your radio information. So when it comes to the sound systems, there's actually 3 of them, believe it or not. 9 speakers is going to come on the Pure. A 16-speaker Klipsch sound system is going to come on the Luxe and the Sport, which by the way, replaced the Bose sound system from last year. Now the speakers themselves look exactly the same as the Bose speakers, but I guess the brand itself just got switched up, and I feel like that's more speakers than last year as well. I could be wrong, but I don't remember a 16-speaker sound system in the Luxe last year. But anyways, 20-speaker Klipsch sound system for the autograph then. Oh, by the way, Klipsch is headquartered in Indiana. I'm gonna keep saying that. It's just a company I hadn't heard of before, so that's kind of cool. They're in the US here. But anyways, let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Well done, Klipsch. That's a really good sound system. So there's a ton of bass there. Infiniti and Nissan in general always crush it with their bass, and this is certainly no exception. That was incredible. Really good clarity as well. 16 speakers is a lot of speakers, you guys. Like, especially for a Luxe trim level. That's something you see at the very top trim level of a lot of the competition. So when it comes to the sound system, they crushed it. So well done, Infiniti. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on that infotainment screen is when you do put the QX60 in reverse, you will find a pretty darn high definition rear view camera. Good job there as well. With the surround view monitor there to the left, that's only going to come on the Luxe trim level and up, so you're not going to get that with the Pure, but that's pretty cool. It gives you that bird's eye view, letting you know what is completely all around you, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so starting with the best part, the QX60 is an IIHS top safety pick. Get front side curtain airbags, driver and passenger knee airbags up front as well. In the back, you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, brake assist, a blind spot monitoring system, lane departure warning, rear parking sensors. And then if you were to go with the Luxe trim level and up, you get to get front and rear parking sensors, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, driver attention monitoring system, pro pilot assist, and lane departure prevention then as well. So keep in mind, I'm going to be overly critical here, as I've been trying to be lately, just because I want Infiniti to succeed so bad, because the G35 Coupe was still to this day my favorite car that I have ever owned. But so final thoughts. Very nice design. I do like the design of the QX60. I think it looks plenty fine. I especially love the refresh for this year because I do think it looks more in line with the QX80, which looks absolutely amazing. Now, there is some constructive criticism, of course. I would personally prefer the naturally aspirated V6 from my G35 Coupe back in the day, and if they compare that up with a really amazing sounding exhaust, not too much, but not too little as well, just like the G35 Coupe was back in the day, it had this very distinct sound that when you heard it, you knew exactly what it was, just like the Mustang GT has. When you hear that naturally aspirated V8, that rasp, you know exactly what it is. That's what I'm looking for. If you're not going full EV, you have to have something like that to appeal to the senses where you instantly know what a vehicle is. So that's what the G35 Coupe had back in the day. And like I said, Infiniti, I bet you if you put that as an option on this one, people would buy it. I'm just saying. As far as room for improvement goes, there is a little bit of interior quality I would up a little bit in this one because it is a luxury automaker. The black plastic, like I said, the shifter's a little cheapy. So it's just stuff like that. Also, the black plastic paddle shifters, I would just completely get rid of the paddle shifters in general. Ambient lighting would be nice as well. Just about all the competition has that now. The third row, I'm not sure if that's going to be very useful in the QX60 just because overall cargo space is like 76 cubic feet. Typically, if you're going to put a third row in a vehicle, the bottom number you're probably looking for is like 80 cubic feet. That's kind of the very minimum to where kids can fit back there. 28 inches of rear legroom. Like I said, it's less than my Mustang GT, which was a coupe. So I don't know. This would be plenty fine as a 2-row SUV. They got the QX80 if you wanted a 3-row, but just overall, I think Infiniti needs to find a way to make their vehicles more special, like stand out like they used to, like that distinct exhaust sound or like some really good ambient lighting. The sound system is amazing in here. That's a positive I definitely wanted to mention. The gauges could be better. They're not bad, but like I said, Mercedes-Benz and BMW, since this is competing with those, they have 5 or 6 different loadouts to really customize it and make it your own. So I think it's probably just a software thing. I think that would probably be a pretty easy fix to switch up. And that was another thing the G35 Coupe had back in the day that was very distinctive, was those bright yellow gauges. You didn't see bright yellow gauges anywhere. They looked like a yellow-orange, I guess, but they weren't anywhere else. No other manufacturer was doing that. They were unique and they stood out and they were amazing. I don't know. This SUV is pretty nice. It definitely looks good for sure, but let me know what you guys think of the QX60 in the comment section below. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media stuff at the bottom of the screen if you want to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what I've been doing here for 11 years now. I do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.